Let me pull up this tweet here. This is what I tweeted. Google is trying to get YouTubers to lobby on their behalf to protect the current iteration of Section 230. You'll start to notice videos and social posts defending it. These are not organic. I have another call with Google about it today. That was 12 hours ago. And then I posted at about 5 p.m. Google unfortunately canceled my call with them. Section 230 is vital to a free and open internet, but big tech should not be free to editorialize and be immune at the same time. So basically what's happened is it is Gonzalez v. Google. I could be getting it wrong, but my understanding is that YouTube had recommended terror videos or something to somebody because it's automatic, right? Mm-hmm. And then they said, that you provided support to them by giving them access to the system or something to that effect. Or people were able to search for it and find it. And so you are choosing to recommend it. And now with the Supreme Court granting cert, whatever the full word is, they're actually going to be hearing this case and YouTube's freaking out. I think the reason the guy canceled on me is because I kind of went off on him.
I wish I could hear that conversation.
But the issue is basically that YouTube is saying, no, you can't hold us responsible for what people say, which is the platform that bans anyone who says things we don't like and then chooses to highlight the things we like specifically. That's insane.
Yeah, featuring is like an inherent publishing tactic.
And I think like when it was originally, obviously when it was conceived, the internet was smaller and everything. But I think it was given in good faith too, that they would actually take action against, illegal content, because obviously they knew that, they couldn't control everything that was on the internet at once. That's why they had liability protections, is because, say on Twitter, like thousands of users are posting every day. They can't catch everything in real time. But that's the thing. I believe they gave it to them in good faith that they would target, like I was bringing up earlier, the illegal content, the most important and like harmful content, rather than the EU worried about misinformation or hate speech or whatever they want to say that they're going after right now. So
I read a story about New York that some of you may have heard me reference before. When they banned public drinking, there was like a city council member or something who said, let this law not ever be misconstrued to say that a man can't enjoy a beer with his lunch. It was specifically about drunkards strolling about causing problems. Well, now you can't enjoy a beer with lunch because the law gets written and then everyone says, oh, that's what it says. So you take a look at what happens with the law in Section 230. They're like, hey, you can't be held responsible if someone else posts something. And then they go, yeah, but can we take stuff down? They're like, well, no, because then you're editorializing. Yeah. But hold on, man. Like, what if someone posts something illegal? I got to take it down, right? Oh, good point. Okay. So if you're taking things down that are obscene, lewd, or illegal, then you can take it down and can't be considered a publisher of content if you're choosing. And then they went, okay, so now we're going to ban conservatives. And that's where we're at.
Yeah, obscene is very, very vague word.
I think Antifa is obscene. Ban them all.
Yeah, the
no,
middle
I'm kidding.
finger.
They're allowed to say their ideas, whether they're good or bad, and they shouldn't be allowed to advocate for violence or organize violent defense, which they were doing. Yes. Now that Elon's in, they're getting banned. Surprise, surprise. Child exploitation getting banned. Yeah, it's really sickening and crazy what was going on before they intervened. But I have to wonder at the same time, if this is what we're seeing now with Twitter, what will happen to YouTube if they lose not all of their immunity? Because this is just about recommendations. Do they fall under the protections? What would happen to them? Are they going to be able to pick and choose and play politics? That means Jimmy Kimmel, no more. You go to the front page of YouTube, no more Mr. Beast, no more Jimmy Fallon. Bye-bye. Nothing. You got to search, you got to find it, reverse chronological feed, baby.
Yeah, it should be a reverse chronological by default. And then I think you should be able to create your own algorithm. Mine says this, it's kind of, I haven't messed with it much, but you can create your own, what do you want to get fed? Like, do you like golf? Do you like dogs?
Hey, I got a crazy idea. If you search for someone, you actually find them.
Yeah, right.
Right. Like that's, whoa. Yeah, that's a big one there, Google. I want 10% on that one.
You know what I think they'll do is they'll start recommending channels instead of videos on the front page. You'll go to the front page and it'll say Mr. Beast. And they'll just say, these are channels that other people have liked, and they're not promoting any speech or recommending speech. Then they recommend an individual. And if the individual says something, well, then it's like, well, that's their video. We didn't recommend that video. So I think that's the way it might go. So they'll still keep playing dirty. We need hard reform on Section 230. Google should not be held responsible for the things that any of us here say, but they should not be allowed to suppress the content at the same time, propping up the ideas they like, suppressing the ideas they don't like.
That's weird, the idea of suppression, because if two people come to me and they're like, here, show everyone my book, I'm like, well, I have to pick one. The one I choose doesn't mean I'm suppressing the other guy. I just chose the one.
No.
But it turns out it is a form of suppression, I guess, if I'm supposed to be a neutral arbiter.
That's not what I'm saying. I respect the point that if there's limited space and they can only show some videos, then they are highlighting videos, but not suppressing you. If there's a system where they say, if you get 10 views in 10 minutes, we're going to put you in the hot new video section. And then they go to you and say, except you. That's suppression.
For sure.
Rules for everyone except you. You get a special class of rules that limit what people can find.
Yeah, unblacklist accounts, but then what they're afraid of is that grandma's going to go to youtube.com and they're going to see white nationalism and racism and militantism and all this stuff. They're like, just because it's popular doesn't mean it's good, but it might be the du jour, like the thing of the day. So they want to try to curate that front area for the landing page.
And that's the challenge. Imagine if anyone, like the amount of censorship that we have now, imagine if they had this level of control in speech during the civil rights movement. There'd be no civil rights movement. This is upsetting to people. There's protests. It's bad. It's aggressive. We're gonna silence and shut down. They did try. They tried stopping people, but people still had constitutional rights. Not all of them were as protected. Were as protected. Obviously, people had these rights were hard fought. But today, because communications are happening on private companies, they're eliminating anyone who speaks out. And we're not talking about the white nationalists or the neo-Nazis, because they should be condemned totally. No, we're talking about people who believe in free speech, anti-war activists, people who want government reforms, people who oppose, say, taxation. These are people who are getting shut down.
Yeah, anti-war's big, because I was very against the war in Iraq, and I was very vocal about it on YouTube, and YouTube was so down with it. They were like, yeah, the people at the time were also anti-war, but that isn't always the case. In the Ukraine thing, like, there's people in the media that want that. They want conflict over there for some reason. They want, like, Putin needs to be stopped. Putin needs to be, and you're like, no. Well,
that's the thing. If you do not want war in World War III, like you saw, like Elon Musk, like tweet about it, then you're automatically pro-Russia. It's like, okay, maybe we should go to peace talks or whatever. Everyone automatically paints you as pro-Russia. It's just insane.
That's crazy. Elon Musk tries saying, "Hey guys, let's not have war," and then all of the votes are like, "No, we want war." That I think that was a big moment for him when he was like, okay, I got to buy Twitter, man. Yeah. I don't know though, but to go back to the Starlink stuff, it really sounds like he's planned this for a long time. But I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see that Twitter is starting to be improved and fixed. And Michael Tracy had a really great tweet. He was like, "These are the rules from 2015. It just said don't post threats of violence or incitement. Everything else, that's your problem." And he was like, "We should go back to that." And Elon Musk said, "Makes sense."
But it's got to be imminent threats of violence, Elon. Make sure there's a time and a date and a specific thing. Like someone coming up and be like, "I'm going to kill you." That's not an imminent threat of violence. If they say, "I'm going to kill you on the certain day at a place," then you're creating illegal activity. So
Ian loves his threats of violence.
It's legal to do vague threats. It is legal under the U.S. Constitution, If it's not
DMs too is like different from, like, say if you just tweeted something randomly that, like, say it was like a rap lyric or something like that, versus like you're harassing someone in their DMs saying I'm going to come and harm you. I think those are
what's the difference exactly?
So one is targeted at another person rather than just on the platform itself, I would say.
Like if you mean like a general post, this is like at ALX, yes. I'm coming.
Yeah. Or yeah, I think DMs should be. I think those are more serious because that's more personal, because that's directing it directly at you. And then the other thing is too, with like public officials too, they get like so many mentions. I forget which elected official pointed this out the other day, that they got like they blamed Elon Musk essentially for it. They're like, this is what speech is allowed on your platform. The problem is it's not allowed on the platform. They don't tell people to report it, rather than like this elected official will like screenshot it and put a tweet up. The question is, number one, if they felt at risk, did they contact law enforcement? Number one. Number two, did they even report that to Twitter? So how is Twitter even going to take that down if they didn't report it? So I think one of the things that Twitter should be doing too, for all of these people that are complaining, is put the ball back in their court. Say, if you don't want to see Donald Trump's tweets, block him. Here is the new feature for mutes because they have like that mute feature. Nobody uses it.
It's great.
So so they have the hate speech list. Someone asked, they said, what denotes hate speech? And they said, it's not a list I came up with. It's one the company already has. Why don't they make that a custom filter on like the mute button where you can just toggle that off? Mute hate speech. So the user gets to choose rather than what his philosophy was, which like I kind of disagree with, is freedom of speech is not necessarily freedom of reach.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.